Hello everyone and welcome back to the remote work series. I'm Francesco and in this series of videos we're going over the world of remote work. Now in today's video we're going to be going over some of the myths around remote work. Just before we get started, I wanted to thank our sponsor, Hive. Hive is a project management resource that teams can use to boost their daily productivity. It's got lots of amazing features like integrated chat, you've got project templates, project views, and hundreds of other available integrations. Now Hive are kind enough to give you guys 10% off a Hive subscription, so feel free to check that out in the description below. If you want my thoughts on Hive, there's a video there too. So when it comes to myths, misconceptions in remote work, there are plenty of them. Now, I think one of the first ones and one of the most popular ones is being out of contact. Now, as you guys can imagine, being at home, you have that sort of flexibility and, being away from everyone else, you don't necessarily have all of the eyes on you at all times. Now, there are obviously solutions like Slack, Twist, Hive that all provide you with a communication channel directly to your team. Now, email is another one of those, and obviously being connected all the time is a great thing, but being out of contact is one of the biggest misconceptions. Having these things like Slack and Twist and email are all good ways to keep you in contact, and this is one that is normally misjudged by a lot of people considering remote work for their team. So remote workers do keep in contact and do keep available. The next one is unsafe data. Now when it comes to working at home, you are more prone to getting attacked on Wi-Fi or something like that, and this actually is something that a lot of people do worry about in terms of companies when they have big structures, but that's not necessarily the case. Apple, Microsoft, Google all have remote workers in the field using secure networks, and it's important to understand that if your team uses good software and good technology that has high level security, that risk is thoroughly reduced. Another misconception is that it increases the costs. Now, many people think that being able to work from home, you have to pay a lot to get everyone set up as their own office in here. It doesn't actually cost a great deal. It probably costs you a lot less than it would in the office. Now, of course, there are many other costs involved, like being able to pay for software and things like that to be able to telecommute. However, this cost is commonly a lot lower than the cost of working in an office across a year span. The next one, many people believe that the culture suffers, and this has a slight trueness to it. However, culture doesn't necessarily have to suffer. Many remote working teams actually go on a big retreat at the end of the year, which means they can meet up and get together and actually enjoy their time. Although they don't have to spend every day together, they do get a catch up. And many times when a remote worker visits another city of a remote worker, they tend to meet up and catch up over a coffee. And one final one is that the distractions at home are too much. Now, this doesn't necessarily have to be the case. There are obviously a lot of distractions at home, more access to the TV, Netflix and things like that, and just being able to pop on Facebook and things like that is more susceptible. However, distractions are probably equaling out. Now, the distractions of the office, of all the people being around, are probably equal distractions to the distractions of you having the option to go on things like that. But it tends to be most of the time that people are more effective at home and more happy at home and get the job done. Now, obviously, we've debunked a couple of these myths, and there are a couple of cons to remote working that I do want to talk about. Now, the first one is loneliness. Now, being someone on remote working, I remote work in the southwest part of the UK, which is very different because I work in tech, and there's not many tech startups around the southwest. So being able to interact with people is a lot harder. So loneliness is a factor in remote work when you get started, but you can always counteract that with good social events and attending other networking events in the evenings and spending time with your family and friends. The other con as well is that your company might not be able to afford something like a retreat, so you might not ever be able to physically meet your other colleagues, which is a bit of a sad thing. However, it does again come in part and parcel of being in remote work. So guys, I hoped this was valuable in debunking a couple of myths about remote work. Let me know in the comments below whether you have any myths or things that you've heard about remote work. we'd be happy to discuss them. Anyway guys, if you haven't subscribed yet, feel free to subscribe. You'll get all this series of videos and all the rest of the videos too about productivity apps and resources, which I'm sure you'll enjoy. If you haven't checked out Hive yet, Hive is sponsoring the series, so go over to the description. There's a 10% off coupon which you can use, remote work it's called, that you can then take advantage of, and I've put a full review of Hive in the description below. Anyway guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure to have a great day, keep productive, and we'll see you guys very soon. Cheers.